here with Gabe, aka Scionaugh, at the Eclectic Collective Doof here in Northern Rivers. How's it been so far, man?
Oh, it's been beautiful. Yeah, since I got here yesterday afternoon, it's just been, really superb vibes.
Yeah, dude, there's such a crew, eh? Like, I've gotten to know all these guys, and they're just like, the one theme I've noticed, man, is just camaraderie.
Yeah.
Friendship. They're all so tight, and I've one by one been getting to know them all, and they're just so talented, so enthusiastic, so passionate about it, and like, here it goes to show. You know what I mean? They've got this whole crew that shows up. Oh. Well, let's just start it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you just got into this world. What was that like, oh shit moment of like deciding that you loved electronic, heavy side, dark underground music?
Yeah,
man?
Totally. Well, yeah, in high school I was like listening to more sort of folk and blues and sort of jazzy stuff, all sorts of stuff, but I kind of just associated electronic music with like bangers that you get drunk to, and like that didn't really see, I wasn't able to appreciate it in the same way. But at some point I saw like a friend's older brother who was a hippie like posted this album that was Thematic Mathematica, which is like a hypnagogue album. And at the time I was like, you know, studying physics and math, and I was always like really into that sort of, so I pretty much clicked on it because I was like, oh, fractals and math, like this could be interesting. And I was probably about 16, 17, and yeah, love that album. Even to this day, it's like one of my favorites. But that kind of showed me a different world of electronic music where you have, like super interesting, musical, expressive. It's not just about like going, woo!
Yeah, you get out of the kind of just like party, and there's a very abstract, underground, interesting side of it that's like, I think for me, like seeing like the dark side of it, right? And celebrating that instead of it just being kind of the party rave, rainbow sunshine, you know what I mean? Like, so you say you're into folk music and such?
Yeah, like I was in sort of folky blues bands, like playing guitar growing up and that sort of thing.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
And then, so fast forward a couple years, I've been listening to like prog and psytrance just sort of in my bedroom while I'm studying sort of thing. And then I go to Rainbow Serpent, which was like a huge festival here. And pretty much just went because I liked hippie vibes. Like I didn't really know what the music was going to be like or anything like that. And then it turns out like it's a 20,000 person psytrance festival. And there was just that's the oh shit moment you're asking about, was like, what? There's all of these people that listen to this music as well. Like I didn't know anything about like the scene or the culture. I just knew that I liked the music, I guess. And then throughout that festival, like I'm meeting people, and not only do we have similar music tastes, but also we've got a lot in common as people. And I guess, from then this has been my community. I was like, oh, these are my people, I'm here.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. So I see right now you have a Twisted Frequency shirt on. That was my oh shit moment.
Oh, cool.
Was seeing Grouch at Twisted Frequency during COVID times, man.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your experience at that festival?
So I've been the last 2 years. I actually got booked kind of like, it was in the works for a couple of years, but then COVID happened and kind of slowed it down. But we went and did like a Universal Tribe showcase over in New Zealand, like me and Cooney and Dunes and Anadrome as well.
Oh man.
So that was like 2 years ago. That was my first time like going to a festival in New Zealand. And oh man, like that.
The scenery, bro.
It's hard, the scenery is incredible.
Crazy.
Like the crowd there is so like beautiful and respectful. Like people like party all night, but there's like, it made me realize the contrast with Australian like doofs, because people were just so fucking chill and respectful, and also really up for weirdness. Like you'd think in that scene, that crowd, you wouldn't get as much twisted dark stuff, but there is like so much weird experimental music and so much space for that, but always with a crowd that are totally there for it, which I think was really inspiring. Like I felt like I could kind of do whatever I wanted and try new things, and like the crowd just wanted to hear something new and interesting. So plus, you know, the dubstep, the drum and bass, the garage, which is all music I love to listen to, but I've only ever seen it in Australia. And like New Zealand's really like a home for that music.
They fiend drum and bass over in New Zealand, man.
Yeah.
I remember there's this kind of like separation of the Kiwis that would throw the parties, and then the backpackers, and the backpackers wanted the psytrance and techno, and the Kiwis were like, no. Drum and bass all day long, and they would come and take over, and I loved it, man.
And a really cool dub influence and everything as well. Like even the like techno and prog from New Zealand that was at Twisted had a lot of these sorts of dubby influence as well. I guess Grouch is a great example of that. And yeah, so that was 2 years ago. Was that when it was like Tom Cosm, Grouch, Electric Nose, Airy, or maybe Airy then Electric Nose was this crazy session of quality?
Oh man, yeah. Grouch has been a huge influence, man. Like he's just such an incredible pioneer of the psytech sound, man. He's such a nice dude. I've like messaged him privately, and he's like got back to me, and like he's been a huge inspiration for me. But yeah, New Zealand's really special. But here in Australia, also just an absolute thriving. What are some of your favorite festivals here in Oz?
I would say Dragon Dreaming for sure. Like Earth Frequency's also a super special festival. SO is like, you know, that's the Victorian Doof, and been to every one of those being local, and I've loved to see how that's developed. Like after being to all of them, the last one was my favorite, so it's so exciting to see that kind of community grow. And after Rainbow kind of stopped, then it's cool to have a big festival there. I think Wild Horses has an incredible vibe as well. Like that dance floor on the main stage of Wild Horses is like unlike anything else in Australia. It's
amazing.
Super international crowd, and you have all different languages around you, but just a really high, like loving, great energy.
Let's go. Dragon Dreaming around the corner. I've heard nothing but praise and good things about this festival. I'm gonna go down and do the bump in and help out with that.
Awesome.
But what should I expect from Dragon Dreaming? What do you?
Well, I think one, a beautiful scenery. Like it's on the shore of this huge lake in this sort of a valley, and gorgeous scenery. Very like grassroots community vibe in the crew. Like all people that have been doing festivals for a really long time, and definitely more of like a earthy vibe throughout everything. Like I definitely wouldn't say it's a psytrance festival. Like it's a community transformational festival, and there is some psytrance, but it's kind of in its own world in terms of the selection of music. A lot of great bass music, drum and bass, a beautiful chill stage as well. And like last year, the jam tent there was going off, so always popping through the jam tent, like all these people jamming out, and so they've got that live element as well. So
let's go. So you're a guitar player?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. These days I play a bit in my music, but it's been a long time since I've like sort of played with a band or anything like that. So I don't have the polish as much as I used to. It's more like 20 takes per bit, but it works for this sort of music.
Oh, for sure, man. So here's a pretty deep question. So you said you were into physics and math and all this. What's your take on where this is all going? I think as producers and artists, there's this presence of technology coming into the scene, and we're gonna have to adapt to it. What's your kind of Jim Morrison prediction as to, because he predicted DJs way back in the day.
So are you saying how do you think technology is going to change the music scene or the world in general?
If you were to guess in not just the music, just this scene in particular, 20 years from now, let's say, which is actually a huge amount of time for technology to develop, what do you think it would look like? What do you think the experience would look like?
I could imagine 20 years is hard. Even like 5 years.
Go back maybe.
5 years, I would say that there would be a lot more like AI tools for helping DJs mix, where like maybe, you're choosing the songs that are made by humans, but like AI is creating loops that you could use to like transition and feed between the tracks. I'd say that sort of thing.
I know it's a tricky one. Right?
Yeah, really interested to see what goes on like with the production side of things. In terms of like socially and community wise, I feel like It could be pretty interesting if people start using implants. Like within 20 years, that's definitely something that's going to be happening, like Neuralink and all of these sorts of things. And I think I could imagine that being, like if COVID was divisive in this community, I think implants will be a big thing. It'll be interesting to see if like inclusion accepts people with chips in them and that sort of thing. Because there's always some politics underneath the doof, and I think adoption of technology and modern science is definitely a controversial topic in free-thinking communities.
Are you gonna get the chip?
Pardon?
Are you gonna get the chip?
It just depends. Like I think if it can like significantly increase my life or like make me, like the way that I see it is like I've already kind of incorporated the mobile phone into my life, and it allows me to be sort of like a next, like having whatever information you want at your fingertips literally makes, like 500 years ago or even 100 years ago, pretty much makes you a god, you know, like your, you know, what we talk about in these communities about like collective consciousness and like how you can pick up on collective consciousness. We do that daily with a mobile phone. So, you know, if we had a way of using a chip to like communicate quicker or more authentically than we can with English or with anyone that speaks different languages, I feel like I would do it for that. Like if traveling overseas and not being able to communicate with people, it's really difficult, you know, and if there was a way of like translating that without having to learn another language.
So crazy to think about. It's so abstract, and like, could you imagine like running an Ableton Live session with a Neuralink and controlling all that, and like what that could mean for like the dance floor if everyone had a Neuralink in it, and it was like, it's hard to even explain.
Well, if we're talking 20 years from now, it might mean that we can party in the most epic locations because we wouldn't be making any noise, and like it wouldn't be hurting our ears because we could just be like beaming. You could, I guess you would still not be able to feel the sub, so that's a thing.
But you could almost like have some sort of sub that's like just putting out the low frequencies just so you feel the vibration, and everything else.
But the subs are the ones that travel.
Carries the volume.
But like in terms of ear damage and stuff, like that could be a thing that's. But even like already I've seen, like have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, for sure.
You know how there's the babble fish in that?
Yes.
Well, there's like, you can have just like AirPods or like whatever your Bluetooth headphones are, and they've got like live translations like that now. So if you had two and you gave one to someone else, you could both like communicate in your language and translate it.
Oh my God, dude.
I feel like that's super exciting in terms of travel. Like even when I was in Mexico earlier this year, I went to the Anthropology Museum, and it's so incredible there. Like just all of the stages of like humanity in Mexico and in like Central America, and I had no idea how just depth and complex, but it was all in Spanish. But with my phone, I could just hold up Google Lens and it would just live translate all of the text. So the whole time I'm just like, I can go through the whole museum and actually absorb all of it, and it's just with this like translating app. And I was like, that would never have been an experience that I wouldn't like. I wouldn't be able to do that usually. And it gave me that. Like I did that on the first day I was in Mexico, so that gave me so much more perspective for the rest of my trip.
Yeah.
And the English is like this much, and then like the Spanish is like 3 or 4 paragraphs, and I'm like, I'm missing out on a lot if I just read the English part.
Yeah. So true, eh? Well, yeah, I'm excited to see where it all goes. I think some.
Yeah, where do you think it's gonna go?
A lot of what you said, man. I think it'll just become this like. I could imagine there'll be a point where, say, a company creates a show where you'd like go to a club and possibly there's not even a DJ anymore, where there's just like you're in an immersive experience in a room, and that AI is actually creating this music on the fly based off the collective network of everyone's Neuralinks, and that's all getting put into the algorithm, and it's spitting it out real time to like complete the whole picture for everyone, so everyone's getting exactly what they want, and then all the lights are connected to this. The entire sensory experience is all in just a room. There's no DJ, nothing. It's just all that. I think that's possibly what might happen, but I'm still gonna produce techno, man. You're still gonna produce music. We're still gonna get up and DJ. Like, we love that. We're gonna do that no matter what. And we just gotta kind of find where it fits in, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so, I kind of welcome it. Like, I'm someone who I feel like I live to support my music rather than trying to make my music support me. So I think there's always going to be like people that want to hear music made by a human.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And and if that means that, like, it also could mean that like like any sort of generic sounding music, people are just going to think it's AI. So it could be a huge push towards like weirdness, which I welcome.
Yeah, dude. Make it weird.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some stuff that comes out in the next years that's like absolutely mind-boggling in terms of like production quality. It's just that's so beyond what we could even imagine. Not that it's better, it's just completely different because it's not a human, you know, it's a computer completely generating it off of.
But the computer's not making it up, it's using data made by humans. So it is like a collective consciousness in a way of human creations that it's kind of...
Anyway, I thought I'd ask that question. It's really interesting. I always ask my friends that, and it is so controversial, you know, and especially in this area, you get all the hippies and they're like, no way, I'm living in the bush. Like, that's everyone I know, man. But I welcome it, and I'm really excited to see where it all goes. Anyways, man, like, is there anything else you'd want to say on camera? Anything coming down the pipe? Any releases or shows that you want to promote?
Like, releases. So just this year, I kind of launched SCIOTECH, which is like my psytech, like alias. And I kind of was writing both under Scionaugh, but at first I thought it was just going to be like a couple one-off, slower tracks, but now it's turned into like over 2 hours of music, and I want to be able to one, see where that sound goes, but two, be able to play that like separately to Scionaugh and not have to always consider like how they're going to fit in the same set. So yeah, I'm launching my first EP this year, and it's going to be the first of like a 3-part series for Fault in the Formula is what it's called, and that's with AlpaKa Records.
Let's go.
Which is like a label from Montreal doing psytech. And then I've got a prog album coming out on Universal Tribe, which is the label that I kind of like work with all my prog. And Subspecies 4, which is the VA that I put together, came out like last week. So that's like a good, like, it's been really cool doing a compilation and like being able, like having submissions of tracks and being able to curate these albums. And by number 4, I feel like, it's so cool to just see so many people creating this sound, and it's awesome working with new artists.
Man. Last thing, what's a message to all the new producers, new DJs, people that may be a bit like intimidated to get into it? What's some kind of words of comfort to? It's really you get on Ableton, you're like, dude, there's no way.
I'd say that the best advice I ever got was actually from Grouch, and he said, you've just got to be shit for a long time, and then you'll get good.
I love that, man. I love
and also
that, man.
follow SektionSound, because that's like the education company I do with Cooney, and we've got videos and workshops in Melbourne and one-on-one lessons and that sort of stuff.
Oh, dude, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
I'm all over it, man. Anyways, Gabe, really appreciate that. That's Thanks the first interview, man, so that's a big deal for me, man.
Awesome.
And
Well, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Thanks to the Eclectic Collective for throwing this event, man, and getting you here. And
absolutely.
What a beauty day. Let's go dance, eh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Peace. Awesome.
That was great, man.
Let's go.